Ready to go live.
Okay, I can't, vote on these other things. But I did watch minutes. I did watch,
What you talking about?
minutes from last meeting, but it's like when I wasn't here, so.
Oh. We got mail too?
No, just that,
Just that.
the minutes.
Well, let me hit restrooms.
My office and her office.
Where'd my notes go?
What?
Hey, Jeremy.
How's it going?
Jeremy, how are you?
Good.
What's that for?
Minutes.
Okay. Give it a second.
Well, that's right, you don't look at the email. You wanna read it?
I look at my email.
Wow.
I don't get minutes emailed to me.
No, she doesn't email the minutes anymore. I
Thought she
emailed it.
did.
No, she doesn't, I emailed,
I barely get the agenda emailed to me.
yeah, I, emailed the building committee minutes, that's. the
Oh, okay, I'm probably
yeah.
confusing that with
Yeah,
that,
no, she
okay.
doesn't email them anymore.
Yeah. Alright, I read your minutes, I thought, wait, how did you read them? I didn't do the training on the ballot counter.
Oh, yeah, you didn't do that, right?
Nope,
I did.
yeah, just make a difference.
I think
I
so.
think that was it though, I mean, I didn't print much. There wasn't much going on.
Nope, it was a quick meeting,
It sure was.
yeah, 5:10.
It sure was.
Yeah, that's probably why you weren't here, that's why it was short.
Well, you know, that's really not,
Can we talk about the website for a quick second?
sure,
Sure.
Civic Plus is the company that everybody else uses around us.
Civic Plus,
Civic Plus,
okay.
Ospey, the county, everybody,
I thought it was-
Tamworth,
I thought
Wakefield,
it was something else.
Oh, you're
Web-
talking
web,
software.
Not, yeah,
website.
not.
Website, not software.
Not
Okay.
financial
Yeah,
software.
website. I re-engaged with them, I have been over the last couple of weeks. We talked about what it would look like to implement. We could start after town meeting in around April. We would owe them 3,500 in this budget year. I budgeted 2,500 under website already. So we already have 2,500, we're just short 1,000.
Oh, we can make an amendment at the town meeting.
Don't
I
have,
wouldn't even do that. I think between the trust fund, now obviously we can't fund the website itself out of the trust fund, but we could fund like 1 month of the Lakes Region bill out of the trust fund because that's computer and network. Between the trust fund, between contracted services, there's other places where we can
get
find
the
$1,000.
So we could get $1,000,
But
Yes.
Does the board agree that it's time?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah, tired of complaints.
We're gonna work with Caitlin to send the current vendor an email saying just stop working on the broadcast, the email application, because we still haven't heard a word from them, and obviously we're not paying for something we haven't had. And our contract with them ends in early 27 anyway, so by the time we roll out this website, it's probably gonna be August, I would say. But they do all the move over, they do all the new setup, we tell them what we want and they put it there.
so I know when they went to Osprey, their implementation was less than 60 days.
They can do a expedited, if you will, so, okay.
The website pretty nice.
Yeah, nobody complains like they do about ours, so.
That's good.
And I think the public support is there, I mean, you heard in the
Oh, yeah.
budget meeting, you know,
The score sheet.
Yeah, Amazing Grace.
Well, I mean, we heard it again today, but some of this is really conversation for openness. but,
okay,
How often things get put on that's not gonna change. It's not like Civic Plus is gonna come here
Right.
and put stuff on there.
Right.
It needs to be on there, so we still have to have a conversation about who's responsible for that and how often,
well, and the other thing with Civic
how
Plus,
frequent that's supposed to happen.
you can give out logins to like board chairs, for example. So, a board chair could manage their own portion, they only get access to their portion, but they could manage their portion of the website. So if the budget committee, if Scott wanted to upload their minutes or upload a document, he could have a login to do that. Police and fire, we can manage our own side of the site,
Planning
so
board, same thing, all the different boards.
that side of it can
Access.
become a little easier.
Yeah,
that
well,
would
it
be a
takes the
lot
load off,
easier, yeah,
And the other thing with Civic Plus and the way they're set up, well, this includes the email and text messages and all that stuff that we've been trying to get. But like if Caitlin goes on and posts an agenda for a meeting next week, it immediately emails out to anybody that's subscribed with a PDF of the agenda. When the minutes are posted, same thing, it goes out in a blast to everybody, so that information will start flowing out to the people that wanna sign up for it
okay, good,
versus trying to find it
Yeah.
now,
let's do it. I'm all right,
Yeah,
whatever.
we
He's,
need that.
he was preparing, he said by the end of the week, he should have a proposal, so.
Okay, I realize I didn't call the order.
no,
I was ready to go live, I see it's blue. I hope it's not live. Call the order at 4:20. Pledge allegiance.
Hold on.
Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome. Signature folder. Minutes, make a motion to approve the minutes, Board of Selectmen's minutes for February 3rd, 2026.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Manifests, make a motion to approve manifest dated February 12th, 2026 in the amount of $38,175.73.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Make a motion to approve the manifest dated February 19th, 2026 in the amount of $306,763.15.
I'll second.
$266,080 is, was the school.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Minutes are done.
And there's no discussion.
You're gonna talk about that later in your report, okay? No mail?
No mail.
That's on.
That's part of the signature folder.
Yeah, okay, we'll back up in the signature. We did have a couple things from the assessing, one was for current use, one for veterans, and one for land use change tax, so those have all been approved. Selectmen reports.
Okay, I don't have all that much to report. I did attend a couple of meetings. I was out for a week, so it was rather quiet. Did miss several meetings that week. Did attend the training for the voting machine that we are getting, that we will have for the elections. I did attend that training, and I believe there's a testing coming up,
Yeah, I think it's March something, isn't it?
Yeah.
25th,
Oh, February?
February 25th.
February 25th.
So that we can be ready for the elections. Of course, I will be attending that as well. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Rose. Chris?
So it's been a pretty quiet week. There weren't any significant snowstorms, so, we did have some, damage to the salt shed at the transfer station, from a salt delivery truck, that had to be addressed. That conversation is gonna continue. At the same time, the stop sign and street sign for Snow Road was knocked down at the same time. The contractor reached out and said when they went in to push the salt up, the sign was up, when they came out, it was gone. I don't think it was hit. I put that sign up last year, the new sign, new stop sign, new post. I put what I call a stem in the ground, it's when you're driving a 3-foot section and you bolt on an upright to that way it breaks away easier. There was nothing wrong with the signpost, it was intact, so it was broken away from its base. And the Snow Road sign is been removed from its bracket, so I think it was knocked down for the sign. It wasn't knocked down by accident, we thought maybe one of the trucks grabbed it on the way out accidentally, but I now believe it was knocked down for the sign, which is pretty commonplace, so.
So the contractor was there that morning, then when he went back out, it was gone?
No, when he went back out, it was laying on the ground, and that's why he sent us a picture of the sign laying on the ground, he
Right.
said it was fine when I went in. So he
So
goes,
within an hour or whatever he,
yeah, less than an hour, because he went in to push the salt in, then the header was
yeah,
removed, ripped out, so he didn't even dare go in with the machine to push the salt up. Because the roof was compromised, so he left, so it was a matter of 25 minutes, 30
and that
minutes
was
maybe.
in the morning,
Yep,
daylight?
well, I mean, he said that, I'm 99% sure, but it was, the snowbank was hardened, but anyway. It didn't get knocked over by a truck or anything by accident, I think it was intentionally knocked over for the
And
Snow
the
Road
sign's
sign,
gone,
so.
so, yeah.
Get on it, Tyler.
Someone in there, he shed, she shed, man cave has got a Snow Road sign, so,
Or,
That's a pretty common one.
yeah,
campground.
yeah,
That one and Nutter Road.
yeah, they're like Nutter Road.
They like
so-
Nutter
Yeah.
Road.
So, So that's one thing, the other thing is, having a conversation with the staff today, our next selectmen's meeting would be scheduled for voting day. So that's not really an
Oh.
option. So I propose we move it to Monday the 9th. Because otherwise it should have been the 10th, but, which is 2 Tuesdays from now, but,
Are you
So
sure?
2 meetings
No.
from now?
The third, March third would be the next,
Election is the 10th.
and the election's the tenth,
That's
isn't it?
2/3, that's a
that's
month.
3 weeks.
That's, yeah.
Yeah, no,
2
the
weeks from
third
now is the 3rd.
is the third.
Whoops.
So we're good for the
See,
third.
you made me scratch my head
I
there.
know, I'm like, what?
Okay, so,
You trying to get into the election?
I
no,
think so.
no, I have the dates all written down and stuff, this was, to schedule a non-public. So, without getting into the details of that, but, I was proposing moving the meeting, cause we need to have a non-public, but obviously, it's a moot point if our actual meeting is the third, so.
Right.
So then I propose that we have, the non-public at 3 o'clock on the third.
Okay.
At our next scheduled meeting, so we obviously skipped a week there somehow, when we were looking at the calendar earlier. I'm already trying to get 26 over with, apparently, I'm
I see
jumping ahead.
that, sheesh.
Alright, got it.
And then the other thing was, it was brought to my attention that the minutes for the Board of Selectmen's meetings haven't been put on the website since September, and there are none for the Budget Committee on the website, so if we could, address that at some point in time, or talk about that, so.
We do have them here, don't we?
They're in the book, so we do
the
meet
book.
statute by law, and I did make that abundantly clear that, you know, as far as following the law, letter of the law, we do meet that, so the website is, although convenient, it is a courtesy, so.
Right.
But
I'll make sure that's checked, cause usually they get placed onto 2 places in that situation, so I'll look into that tomorrow too.
Heidi does that.
Yeah,
so, but we do meet the law, so,
So who does the budget?
would be Heidi as well. but
Yeah.
Heidi
Yeah.
second.
and anytime boards submit their minutes, she goes and she puts them on,
Okay,
so
so,
I'll check it out.
alright, appreciate that.
That's all I had, yeah,
Yeah.
for now.
Yeah, it was kinda busy last week, you know, with the budget committee. And, getting the final draft going on the MS 737, finalize that. So, we're good on that, so, that was most of my time spent working on that stuff, so. Go ahead, you're next.
Alright, so, as the board saw with the manifest, I did receive an answer from Governor Wentworth Regional School District. There were questions last month regarding, if there were any overpayments since they submitted their final schedule. We did receive an updated final which reflected any overpayments to be deducted out of our February payment. And that had taken place, so originally the payment we were supposed to make in February was over 500,000. And this one we paid 266,000, which deducted any overpayments we had made. The MS 737 and the draft warrants have been entered into Department of Revenue's portal. So next steps on that would to be getting both of those finalized through that portal, doing pre-reviews and getting anything through DRA and our legal counsel. And then as well, good news for here, we received a partial payment from the auctioneers for a total amount of $356,635.72 for most of the properties that were sold in auction back in December. There are 4 properties, we're still remaining on, but it's one buyer, so we should have the remaining of that here pretty shortly. That's what I got for.
Awesome,
that.
good. Questions? So we got interest on that, what, the school was using our money?
Yeah, we should
That,
get
I don't
into-
have that answer
should.
on.
Well, that might be something.
You can ask Brody that when he comes
Yes, when
in.
he comes in, I think Brody can answer that question.
I will.
Good question for Brody.
Hopefully he wears 2 hats tonight. Cause you know the other place he works, right? NHMA.
Yeah. Well,
There's,
then,
there's one thing I think we could do, but hold on one moment, we're gonna have to business.
yeah, because,
Things too.
I
Okay.
have, yeah, I actually have something else too, so,
wait till Keelan has the.
howdy. Long time no see.
Yeah. Could have been a short meeting.
So,
right.
go ahead.
No, you first.
So one thing I wanna add to business while we're waiting in between for when the school board reps come in. Andrea is going to, reprint the report from Nevern, which is the vital statistics, I can't say it,
Statistics.
thank you. Because that's one thing I still need for town report, is a dedication to the town report. So she's gonna prepare that while we're waiting, we can get that decided on as well.
Okay. And you had something?
That,
No, that was it?
yeah. So I was gonna say, we still need to do the
Yes.
dedication,
Right.
discuss whether or not we wanna change anything with the town report. I don't know if it makes a financial difference. Of the size of the print. I was sitting in my chair last night looking at my 1909 town reports,
Wow.
up until 1970 something. And they're all the same size for 60 years.
9.5 by 11?
They're the same, no,
They're
they're little books.
tiny,
They were
tiny
small.
book size.
So it was, I remember when we started doing that, there was, concern. I once have been accused of, being harsh with elderly people, and now I'm an elderly person, so hopefully I don't get blamed the same. But,
I wish I was your age.
You and me both.
it was started being printed that big because, it was easier to read. And now it's actually the content that makes it more difficult to read as opposed to the print itself, so. I didn't know if it was financially, if we'd save money by not printing that big huge thing anymore. As far as storage goes, like I said, I was looking, from the 20s, and I have almost every single year. And they fit in a space that big, we're
That's
talking
something I could
50,
definitely
60
ask.
years.
I can ask.
And it was a
Marianne.
staple in it as opposed to the plastic or the metal ring binder on the back.
So you're suggesting to move away from this and go back to the old way?
I'm just having the conversation.
No, that's okay.
If it means saving money, I'm all about saving money. Now, if it's still, the print's still gonna be way too small and that's a concern, obviously that's a absolute concern and should be taken into consideration,
We have 112 pages in this one. Last year's.
Last year's, yeah.
I'm more than happy to reach out to Minuteman and see what other options they may have, and see what could be more cost efficient as well.
So you're saying take this whole page and condense it into a smaller version?
yeah, I don't believe we have any of the old ones here, but
No, I don't think so.
of course, she's not there anymore. One person I can
She'll-
answer
she'll be
that
back.
question.
No,
Andrea was in the kitchen, now she's not in the kitchen. And I didn't know if anybody gave any thought to,
So to be like.
so we have a new picture. That's on our fire apparatus, it's on our cruisers, well, it's not on our patches yet, but it's on JT's chest.
let's see. Oh, that's the fire department.
Yeah, fire department.
Well, it doesn't have to say fire department, the picture in the background's more what I was thinking of, so.
Do you have a copy of the old? Report, the smaller ones? Do you have a copy in there?
Like the 1980
Want just what, anyone?
Anyone, yeah,
Whichever
just,
one.
just looking at the size,
This is for,
that's down.
Make copies if you need.
What, somebody you missed?
Yeah.
Who?
Oh, okay, never mind.
Me? How many?
So you have a total 12.
Well, So you're gonna write something up to provide to Caitlin? Or are we just gonna provide this?
No, we need to, well, these are the unfortunate, it's unfortunately the people we've lost this year.
Right.
We've lost one, actually.
So I mean, for me, obviously, I knew every single one of these people, but, you
wanna
know, people that were
stand out.
involved in town,
Right.
so. Yeah, so that's probably 40 years worth of town reports right there, you do that with those big numbers, yeah,
Let's see one. Who's got bad eyesight? It's small.
It is small.
Can you guys read that?
No, he didn't think so.
Well, Chris does have a lot of magnifying glasses.
It looks like they condensed it all down,
Yeah,
half size.
to have some, yeah, the type style is much smaller. And
yeah, so,
I mean, I can read
they're
it.
not all like that,
no, it's
but
here's,
It's 97.
my reaction, by the way, was, I didn't realize that she
1990?
passed away.
oh,
I didn't know her. They're all same size.
yeah, they're all the same.
Yeah, see what price, get a price in there.
1929, the print was a lot smaller, cause there wasn't a whole lot going on.
Well, yeah, that's.
You pay taxes on your
That's the
cows
other
and your
part of
sheep,
it.
not your property.
I'm most certainly happy to look at that. My only concern then would be the MS 737,
Why is that?
the visibility. But we could put it in there and just have extra copies and wanna look at it for the budget purposes during the operating budget and
Well,
stuff.
they would have to have been in,
So that was the other thing I wanted to discuss was, going back to that, you know, format and that form and having that, I mean, I think we got plenty of time that we can work on that. So we have handouts at the front desk, so the people don't have to do cause even when we
move around,
go
yeah.
to the big form, people still have to flip back and forth, and you have to do that fast, because you're going through the operating budget, and we do it per, you know, it's code, whatever, executive,
yep.
and then we go through that and then vote on the bottom line or whatever, but, people still have to flip back and forth.
Correct.
In years past, whatever, it was printed in a form, or we had handouts where that essentially was almost a 737, but that's very confusing, because,
You have to figure out, cause there's some, like 4150 has 6 different
Has-
account
right, I was gonna
lines that
say,
you have to
yeah,
add together.
right.
right, and I mean, that has like airports and stuff in it, and I can remember people saying, we don't have an airport in town. So, you know, they're fairly new to the process, whatever, but the other thing is, I even found myself looking at the 737 the other day and going back in Old Town reports to the 737, because I always felt like the discrepancies, not discrepancies, but the amounts that weren't voted on by the budget committee should have been in that, last category, if it differentiated from what the selectmen were supporting. And that's not the case, it's not until you get to the warrant articles where that happens. The $50,000 that we're proposing,
Yeah,
Right,
there should,
that's the only thing that shows up as,
so it doesn't even show. on
I just saw
operating-
you 737, can I see that real quick? Would you mind?
Cause I have to enter it, which is weird.
Which one? This one. Yeah, and the last sheet was the 50,000. I think something like that
I could do that.
yeah, that's.
for the
Yeah, I can break it down.
the meeting. That was just got
The
the
brackets.
departments and then what's the amounts approved.
Well, and compared to last year's, this has
Right, it's
had,
last year's.
okay.
Yeah, you already have it typed up.
Yeah, that's already typed up, so.
Right.
So I'm like, wow, is that supposed to be 0? And then you look at all the previous town reports going back, so like this right here, see? No, it's a bad example, sorry, the bottom line. So there's a $2,000 difference, so I felt like not recommended,
Okay, yeah, cause there's no, okay,
but it's never been put there.
Right,
And it's not until you get into the.
to that when they
warrant
say
article
not recommended, because they
Where
don't
it says not
recommend
recommended.
right,
Only thing with that form, that's a Department of Revenue.
Right. So that was like. Of course, it's not on the first page, but you can see that
Yeah,
it's
it'll
in
be
that
on that
column
one.
there and here.
Yeah,
right.
Okay.
So I was like, uh-oh, has it already been sent, cause you asked us to draft, to read the,
Yeah,
proofread it?
that's just a draft status, I'm not hitting anything that I can't hit until it's time, so.
So I started drafting an email to you saying, hey, is this supposed to be in there before I hit send whatever, I pulled up town reports and I said, okay, it's never been in that before, so.
So is it supposed to be here or not?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, that's DRA's
But
information in their
The
report.
point I was getting at is it makes it it can be confusing.
Oh, I read
Oh,
it too,
yeah.
when I went through it, I mean, I did the numbers right last week.
Now, with that being
confusing.
said, when I create that form for town meeting, so it's not, you know, flipping back and forth, do we want to have a not recommended portion there? Like, budget committee didn't recommend $2,000 to this, but the board did. Do you want me to add that too, or no?
I'm not sure exactly what she's speaking of.
Well, on all the, there's a couple budgets that, I think the budget
They were
committee cut.
different, yeah,
Planning
Yeah, like the
board
very
and-
first one, it was a $2,000 difference.
Right.
At the end of your executive, so. Under which line, I can't remember exactly.
4191.
Yeah, right there, 41, 39. Thousand bucks.
Yeah, there's actually two, cause there's $2,000 difference. $2,100.
That one, 342. Read this one too,
4194 also.
4150. 4150. So where do you put the difference in that? The end, right?
So did,
In there, I just put what they recommended, there's no
Right.
non-recommendation on that.
Right.
But I'm saying with the sheet I create, that will be more of a breakdown compared to that. Did you want me to put that they didn't recommend a certain amount, or
Well, you'll
just
see the
leaving it as is?
so,
Mm.
so Scott said he's not sure right now where we're going with this to say whether or not he supports that or not. So what I was asking for is historically over the last few years, there hasn't been any kind of handouts. When you get to town report and the moderator's going through the budget and we say Article 11, is it Article 11? Whatever. For the operating budget, and then we go by subcategory, so executive and so on and so forth. People have to flip back and forth in the town report to see what last year's were, what we budgeted, what we actually spent. Because you don't have those numbers right there in front of you per se. So having a handout that has last year's budgeted, last year's actual, and this year's proposed for the operating budget. So if the question arose is, do we wanna have another column that says the budget committee does or doesn't support X, Y, Z amount of this article?
This one right here.
Two comments on that. So the first is, if I recall, we printed a limited set of the operating budget for town meeting last year with the breakdowns. He's shaking his head yes, and I'm pretty sure by RSA that is required,
Okay,
pretty sure. But anyway, I think best practice, to your point, at least for the operating budget where the moderator goes through it department by department, correct? That it'd be easier for the townspeople. As far as recommend or not recommend, obviously, we've recommended the operating budget. And when he actually reads the warrant articles with that line, if the budget committee recommends or recommends, that should be
Sufficient.
sufficient. So, you know.
I would just go to a sheet like this.
Yeah, so I don't think it needs to be added to the
Yeah.
supplemental handout, but we should have supplemental handouts for the taxpayers at town meeting.
Yeah, this will make it simple sheet like this. Alright. Any additional discussions? JT,
Yeah, so unfortunately, I still don't have any actual statistics to print out yet with the transition from the state software at the first of the year. They're just now releasing the ability to pull stats out of the system, so hopefully by the next meeting, we'll have actual stats for January and February. However, it has been an incredibly busy 2 months. We're at 61 calls as of today. And that's about a 50% increase from where we were the last 2 years at this time. So, over the last 2 weeks, we have had 2 building fires here in town. One on School Street and one down on Oak Ave. Both of them were accidental in nature, but unfortunately they were both complete losses. So, Thank you to our mutual aid, thank you to our town firefighters that responded out, we had a great turnout on both fronts, so. Thankfully, nobody was injured, but unfortunately, they were both total losses, so, reminder,
This second resident was a camp, right?
it was
wasn't
a camp,
It
yes.
was not a full-time resident.
But it wasn't occupied at the time. So just a reminder to everybody, make sure you have working smoke and carbon monoxide detectors in your house. It can really make the difference with fast notification and getting us there a little sooner. So. That's all I got.
Did you have something?
No, I'm just happy to be here. Yeah, I've been battling whatever this is that's going on. I'm on the up and up now, but the last week's been pretty rough on the department. Brian and I are both out sick a couple days last week. It's our family's turn now, so wish everybody the well wishes and hopefully everybody gets better soon. It's a little difficult when there's only two of us and we're both not feeling good.
A little scotch before you go to bed will take
Two
care.
full-time.
Two full-time.
Let's not throw shade at Brian.
Yeah, Brandon does the most he can for us. It's really helpful having him, but yeah, it's been tough the last week. Trading on and off the on-call overnights because someone else is sick and
Well, we hope you get better.
And I mean this with all due respect, but you sound way worse than Brian does.
yeah,
I talked to him a couple times, he doesn't sound like
yeah,
you.
I
Cat
got
Stevens.
plagued with whatever both of the sicknesses that are going around, so I've been in and out of the doctors and everything, but we're on the up and up. I'm just happy to be here.
He doesn't drink enough whiskey.
That's the whole thing in a nutshell. I told Brian to tell you that too.
Oh, he told me.
Okay,
Yeah, that's one thing I want to shout him out for thanking him for covering to the public hearing. I'm sorry I couldn't be here, but you did not want me here on Tuesday.
That's okay. The school board's gonna be here at 5:30,
Correct.
so we'll have to put that on hold. Any announcements? Nothing? Any public comment? Yes, Scott?
Just in regards to the minutes being posted on the website, most of the budget committee minutes were amended at the budget committee. So I don't know how you wanna handle that. Obviously, the raw copies from the secretary would be incorrect. The
So,
amended minutes are in the book.
may I answer?
Yeah, Caitlin will answer.
So, there's two options that can go about it. And you said if they're in the book, they can be scanned and put on, which
Right.
may be the easiest option out of this. Or the next option would be is if any member on the budget committee had them amended and stored on their computer, they could send it, but those would be the two options out of
No.
that case.
No, be the first option.
I know, that's why I said it would be the easiest option, but I wanted to lay both out.
Scan it.
It's in the book, so that's what they get with the crossouts and the scribbles and.
Yeah, scan it and then load it.
The only thing I ask, does the board sign it? Like you don't physically all
No.
sign? Okay, I just wanna make sure.
No, it's just a little checkbox and you get put in the book.
Nope. I wonder if we should be doing that.
You should not sign and post online is where I was going.
Well, no, I'm saying after we approve it, either the budget chairman signs it or,
well, I think David used to initial and put the date on it and then put it in the book.
yeah,
And we didn't worry too much about what was scanned because that's a draft only and the actual minutes are in the book.
Well, if you wanna
The
just put the
corrected.
drafts up there, you can get those from either me or Heidi.
no, you wanna get the one from the book.
Yeah, I'll get the approved one. I just wanna make sure there was no signatures because
No, no
I
signatures.
know, there's scammers out there and they'll grab the signature right off.
Well, just put your initials.
Yeah, it's an initial.
So, I don't know if I wanna say to you, probably you should go through them and put your initials on them.
Scribble.
Yeah,
Scribbling your
just to say
initials.
that,
How far back are we missing? Probably most of this year.
just
right?
last summer.
I think I can handle that.
Alright, good. Any other public comments? We're not gonna adjourn until 5:30, until they meet, yeah.
So we can work on this
Oh, what?
still. So,
Yes.
out of our 12 vital statistics and unfortunate, people we lost in 2025. So Lori Caldwell was our past treasurer for many, many years. She was the treasurer when I was in the Board of Selectmen back, my first go around. Obviously, for me, all the names in here have meaning and, were involved in town to some extent, but, Lori was like I said, she was a past treasurer, so I think it's only appropriate that we, make the dedication to her.
Who are the other people?
Residents.
Just no one else that served on any boards? Or-
To be honest with you, I can't remember, and forgive me if she did, but, Deborah Pycott, Bill's wife, I can't remember if she, for some reason, I was thinking that at one point in time she was on the planning board, but I won't say that for sure,
Right.
but.
Does anyone remember? I know she was active in certain things, but I don't know.
Probably ask Elena,
Yeah,
tomorrow, is she in tomorrow?
She may be, I'll ask her.
Yeah. You good?
and that's
Yeah.
it, okay?
Yep, so, I mean, Jeffrey Kennard passed away last year, best third baseman in softball you ever come across. Had an arm like a cannon. Yeah, I could go on,
Get
I
that
don't know.
runner to first base out.
oh yeah, and the hand that was of the first baseman. So,
Next instance on that, usually we'll put a picture as well. So, do we know, I don't have contact information for the family of Codwell, is there? Do you have anyone on the board have connection that we
Yeah.
might be able to get okay, cause that's the only other thing I'd need. Cause we usually put the picture there and we dedicate it, so.
Any additional? So we'll just do a little recess until 5:30.
When our-
Oh, wait a minute, Cheryl,
Sure,
I
yeah.
just was reading Debbie Pycott's obituary, cause it was quite lengthy. There's nothing in there about the town specifically.
thank you.
did you get that? Okay. Otherwise, hang around for 25 minutes.
Entertain ourselves with some old town reports if you want.
Yeah, but you could look through these old town reports.
1959, I bet we can find Lawrence's name in here a couple times.
Uh-oh,
You might have to go for Iowa 1930s.
Kind of piqued my interest here.
But they're not in order.
96.
yeah, they're pretty much in order.
96, the year you were born.
Yeah.
That was my second year, my first term on the Board of Selectmen. Thank you very much for aging me.
You're welcome.
See, I told you I was an old man.
76, you were born?
96.
96, Jesus.
I just turned 30.
I'm not there yet.
That's out of here.
Oh, it'll be 30 again.
In 2 years, she was gonna graduate from high school.
Give her some info.
JT, I'm just coming to you. Can you make this print?
No.
And then there's another. Okay. It's got pictures.
Looks like Friday night, we're getting some snow.
Fingers crossed, it goes the other way.
I know. They're hyping it up for sure.
They always do. They hyped up the storm for Wednesday and Thursday, and
Not even
Yeah,
gonna get
1
in.
inch.
well, it's going south of it.
Is it? Yeah, that's right.
May I ask a question? For the picture on the cover of the town report, I know it was mentioned what is on for badges and t-shirt. How are we doing just Effingham? How is that going?
It's just for Effingham.
Okay,
We don't do Ospey or anybody.
that's not what I meant. I meant without fire rescue, but.
Yes,
Yeah, just Effingham, yes, no
That's
department.
something we might be able to get.
can you get just the top part of it or
I have
no?
no idea.
Maybe,
Is that gonna be asked?
I'll try.
Yes, good, and I'm curious, my
That's what I
wife,
meant.
I like the tower in the Green Mountain.
I said,
I'll see what I can do.
grade 13.
Thanks.
And then.
Yeah, that was a pretty unique patch. Who designed that?
Paying for students to go
Um,
to tests.
We kind of like hand drew it and then had a company do the actual design.
That's district.
Yeah,
No, this is just everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wanted everyone.
Start with this.
Okay.
Did everybody get it in?
Christopher Easy.
Smart ass.
No,
Possibly.
at the rec center, no, but I'm working.
Yeah, the first.
I wanna get that.
What do you wanna do with it?
And then lessen it like 20%.
Can we get money back from,
Actually, I might not be in that one. It might be, that would've been the year before.
Yeah.
on repairing that,
I'm curious.
from the contractor, the salt contractor?
Because.
What about it?
Can we get money back from them? Send them a bill?
Well, no, we don't have a contractor.
Well, whoever delivered the seed, the salt,
We don't know who did it.
well, we know it's the salt, right?
Right, but the salt guy is, they hire trucks out. All they do is, if you could be down there during the day,
No, it's not.
so if you get,
I got you.
It's gonna take peanuts.
so if you go to 95, and you get on 95 at the Portsmouth Traffic Circle and head north,
But I wanted to
the
get
very
back to
first
you.
exit is for
Right.
Woodbury Ave.
Yeah, I know where the salt pile is.
That ramp right there, as soon as you get to that ramp, that off ramp, that's where the trucks start lining up.
Since we're in recess, do you want to, I'm gonna put this as.
That's where the trucks start. How are you?
No problem, good.
Maybe because
Thank you
it's
very
not-
much.
JT, come on, I can test it.
The blue is not on.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Alright, go ahead.
Okay. Hi,
It helps if I turn up my volume. Try it again.
Caitlin? Got it? Just blue's not gonna.
Look at that.
Restarting the meeting, representative from, school is here, Brent. Let's take,
Second handout actually too, I guess, wasn't even anticipating this one. Here, this around too. This might be all of our finalized stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
do I need to give this back to Caitlin?
Thank you very much.
I will, I'm already standing there, so thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so we didn't say no. He told us, he was, so yeah,
Chris, did that come out okay?
Yeah.
I did it on the big paper on purpose, so
I think so.
it's easier to look at.
Alright. You're probably gonna wanna make copies anyways.
Yeah.
Just don't do it right now.
So where do you wanna start?
First, introductions.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so I was waiting to speak before I was recognized, I know better than to just jump in, so thank you, Mr. Chairman, for recognizing me. And for the record, my name is Brody DeShays, I am chairman of the Governor Wentworth Regional School Board, I've been chair for 2 years. Grew up in the school district as my wife did, her mother was chair of the school board a few times, if you remember her, Stacy Trites. She's also a graduate of the district, as with my father-in-law. My father-in-law grew up right down the road, probably 5 minutes from here, on Lake Ossipee and Ossipee. So, you know, my family raised me here with my brother, so we have a lot of connections, not just to this area, my wife and I, but also Wolfboro and the district itself. I offer to every school board member who represents each of the, individual towns, obviously we're all elected at large, but each town in our district, all 6, is designated a seat. That if they want me to come and meet with their board of selectmen to present information on the budget and answer any questions and to give a brief presentation, that I'd be more than happy to. Mr. Williams couldn't make it tonight, he couldn't acquire childcare, so sends his regrets, but I know we were getting kind of short on time. You guys had to reschedule, then Mr. Williams had to reschedule, then I turned out, your last meeting was during my town's deliberative session, I wasn't gonna miss that. So this kind of, this was kind of our last chance until before voting day on the, the 9th this year or the 10th? The 10th, on March 10th, so where I assume, I don't know where you guys vote, but
The school.
the school down that way, okay. So I can go over our entire presentation, it's a hefty presentation, or we can talk about the budget itself, what the numbers look exactly like, cause that might be more what you guys care about. And your mix of funding, when I came into Brookfield, they had a whole about 30 people in their meeting who wanted to ask questions from the public. So I took questions, so that worked well, but whatever works best for your board, whatever information your town and your town's leaders are seeking, I'm hoping that I can provide some clarity. I'm not sure if we'll gain more than 50% of support in Effingham, but it'd be nice to gain over 40% this year, so, we gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, so if I may,
Yes,
Mr. Chairman,
please.
so I made a couple of notes just in preparation, so I would like to discuss the student list, budget update, obviously where we're at as far as, percentage, in comparison to last year. Discussing, the fact that I see some of the vans, and so we can get into that in a minute, even on snow days. So that's kind of a, tattling a little bit, but at the same time, that's still taxpayer money, so I just have a question about that. And then, I did notice, trying to get our enrollment numbers, so, I have written down, that there are between K through 12, 222 students from Effingham,
Got it right here.
and,
That actually almost sounds a little light.
125 at the elementary, 32 at middle, 65 at high school.
The two,
Oh, you know what, yeah, that does sound about right.
So I have 222 and, Lakeside, has 20 kids, but they don't, do they track by town at Lakeside?
Yes, I believe we do. I believe we do, yeah.
Okay,
But you have to remember, they're not just enrolled at Lakeside, oh, sorry, you said Lakeside. Yes, we'll track Lakeside separately from the high school. And we probably still will, we are updating Lakeside to now be Kingswood Academy. And rather than paying about a $320,000 ombudsman, bringing in-house, having 2 employees, 1 full-time, 1 part-time, for a cost of about $150,000 or $160,000. And they'll be housed, rather than in a leased space near the SAU office, they'll be housed at Kingswood so they can do all the normal things that students do and participate and be integrated, lunchtime with the other students, which is beneficial socially for them, but they'll still be able to do the alternative diploma program if they're at risk of dropping out. That's how we make sure we decrease our dropout rate.
so we got,
well, so I, obviously, I love the sound of that, I wasn't aware that that was even in consideration coming down the pike, so that's good to hear, so I'm just curious. Let's just say that we currently have students at Lakeside in their freshman year.
Mhm.
Did the school board, and I don't mean to throw shade or put you on the spot, but did the school board approach the current students to say, this is what we're considering, how does that
How does
fit with you?
how does a student get referred to Lakeside Academy?
No, so the current students, they're gonna be moving, potentially, right, from the outsourced facility? I mean, did you like poll the current students to say, hey, we're gonna be doing this by the time you get to what would be considered your senior year?
So when students, so typically freshmen aren't referred to Lakeside Academy, and it's usually not until they get to junior or senior year, because they're at risk of dropping out. You get referred there, they bring in your parents, there's a lot of interdiction that happens prior. And you know, other involvement in trying to deal with students that might be dealing with behavioral issues that are impacting their academics, or just strictly academic issues that could be issues that are coming up at home that are impeding their learning, or just generally they're just not up to snuff for being able to deal with high school curriculum in the traditional sense. So it's not like someone was expecting freshman year to come to Lakeside Academy and, you know, we all of a sudden said, hey, well, we're gonna have Kingswood Academy this year. It's not something where we work with the parents, but at a certain point, it's not something where they're electing Lakeside Academy. Lakeside Academy, the goal of it and what will now be Kingswood Academy is this student's at risk of dropping out. That's not good. We want them to get a high school diploma that's gonna help them join the workforce and be productive citizens in society. Let's ensure that they get the basic high school education they need to be successful leaving what will now be Kingswood Academy. I believe to your question regarding did we consult with families? Yes, it was actually significant feedback we've gotten for years, is having these high school students effectively removed from all their peers, removed from all their friends, removed from all the activities a typical high schooler does, and put into a leased space with contracted services in front of mostly a computer all day. It wasn't frankly healthy. And it was costing more to provide a service that wasn't as, I think, met the students socially and academically. We're paying more frankly for a service that wasn't as good for the students. So this was something the superintendent has identified since she's joined the district, and we have been trying to figure out the best way to end this contract and move along, and the contract expired, so that offered us the opportunity without having to pay any, you know, severance penalty.
Great,
amount of students, 238. So we have,
You guys are the fastest growing town for student population in the district, and it's of course impacting your tax effort for the school district.
yep.
I have a question about the
Oh.
listing that we had gotten, you know, from listing all of the
Yeah.
students.
Pre-K,
And of course, there was the doubled, I mean, there's like over 400 students on here, but there aren't. Because both the mother's name and the father's name are listed on 2 separate. Well, I went through everything and I did come across pre-K, 10 students at pre-K. Now, all of the information that I get online and everywhere is K through 6 for our elementary.
Mhm.
Where is this pre-K coming from, and how come they're included in the general population I just don't understand where all of a sudden that came in.
Thank you for the question, Rosemary, and I think a key thing is that we do offer pre-K services specifically for special education. It's a federal program, and there are two pre-K, schools that offer pre-K in our school district. One is Ossipee, and one is New Durham. And so, a fair amount of the New Durham service is mostly just the New Durham kids. There are some programs in Wolfboro where you have for example, the Children's Center that covers a lot of those services. But in this area of the district, northern areas of Tufton Borough, Ossipee and Effingham, there's not really a lot of pre-K providers, especially for those with special education needs that fall under federal requirements for us to provide them with those services. So you have 10 students that are pre-K that require special education services that are in what is a fast growing program at Ossipee right now. We've had to hire, as part of our new positions, another position there for DPT services.
When did this all come into effect?
It's been around for about a decade,
Really?
maybe a little bit longer.
Because we've never had, well, to my knowledge, has there ever been pre-K included in our numbers?
Yes,
They have been?
Yeah, and I know that can be surprising because you don't see a pre-K.
I don't see
At
anything that says
Effingham
pre-K at
Elementary.
Effingham Elementary.
cause there isn't, there never has been.
Yeah, they're at Ossipee because if we did pre-K at every school, it'd be pretty expensive. We'd have to have a full-time employee for every pre-K, and obviously 10 pre-K students, that might be able to justify a classroom for that age of student. But if it got to 15, it might require 2 based on, you know what I mean? So, or if it got to 5, very hard to justify even a pre-K classroom, full-time teacher who's certified to do that type of work, especially special education with 5 students. So it's better to make sure that we have them congregated at a few of our schools when the population can be that small. So just trying to be fair to the taxpayers and to our budget.
And I did see also we have one student that is repeating 12th grade. Cause it's down as grade 13, and I assume it is because that person is repeating.
Probably not. It's probably because students in the state of New Hampshire, because of the state legislature, they are allowed to stay in school if they have special education needs through age 21 up until age 22.
Really?
So that means you have a student that there's special education needs that they have where they're allowed to be in our school system until they hit the age of 22 and then finish that school year. Yes, so it'll be 13, 14, 15, until eventually the parents pull that but that's federal law, and that's also
Wow,
state law,
okay.
that's even beyond federal law, so contact your legislators about that. We just gotta make sure
Right.
they get that what's required of services of us to them, that we do it fairly, so.
Yeah.
Cheryl?
How is pre-K identified?
How is pre-K identified? The parents, there is a screening process, so the parents will say, I think they might do screening through like Easter Seals or some other, third-party service like that. Either way, we'll also screen. We hire either contracted services that do screening or have employees that are certified in-house to determine if they have a learning disability. And if they have a learning disability or some other special education need, then it's determined that they can be referred. It's not required, but if the parents want it.
If I'm a parent and I have a 4-year-old. How do you screen that child? How do you determine that? It's a bit out of my wheelhouse because I'm not certified to do the type of screening. I just govern the district and I'm on the school board. So I understand what you're saying though. I could get you more information about how that screening process works, but usually it's a parent says, I believe, maybe they've talked to their medical provider, the pediatric, or someone else because they believe their child has a special education need. They then come to the school district will then have either a third-party service that we pay depending on what they're claiming the special education need is, or if we have someone certified and licensed on staff who can determine that, they will basically take the kid through some level of testing and verify that they have this disability and whether or not they qualify for the pre-K program. Okay, if you start at kindergarten, let's say, and go all the way through with special education,
I can't see a 4-year-old going to school all day,
It's a half-day program.
half-day program.
Yeah, so it's on a full day program, it's a half day program, kind of similar to, well, I think almost all of our schools now do full day kindergarten, if I'm not mistaken, but I will point out the goal of a pre-K program like that, or earlier involvement in identifying those types of special education needs or referring to IEPs, is the goal is when you refer these students when they're younger, you're hopefully going to catch them up sooner, so then they don't need to have special education services as they get older or require a one-on-one as they get to and high school. So the goal is to try to get more early involvement when they're earlier on in their education, and then in the future, they won't require as many resources or as many like one-on-one teachers, which saves costs long-term. I'll give an example. I was part of a pre-K program where when I was growing up, because I had special education needs, and I had additional educational stuff that they needed to provide to me, and come by the end of second grade, I no longer needed those services. If you don't identify those sooner, if we wait until third grade and the child is like way behind on reading literacy or math literacy, it takes a lot more resources and a lot more time to catch that kid up, so it's better to have a pre-K program, identify that sooner and do those interdictions sooner, rather than waiting until they're in sixth grade and you found out this kid can only read at a second grade level. Then you're in a really tough spot and requires a lot more resources to educate that child.
So they're in a classroom with just pre-K.
Are you asking pre-K students, like, yes, they're in just a classroom, pre-K, part day, and the goal is to make it so then these kids are ready for kindergarten or are on par or about on par with their peers who will join them in kindergarten.
And how do you make them ready? What do you do?
I don't know the exact curriculum, but I know that they're doing anything that any other certified childcare center would be doing that has educational aspects of it.
And what about transportation for these children?
Any kid that has a right to an education in our school district, we have to provide them transportation, that's state and federal law.
So when they get out and they don't go a full day, we have to bring them home.
We do.
And are we using just one mode of transportation for Effingham for these kids?
Potentially, I would have to ask the transportation director, the transportation director, I think, does an excellent job of, to the best of her ability, making sure that every kid wants, whose family wants them to ride the bus to and from school, making sure that they have access to that transportation, but not in a way where we're driving each kid individually right up to their doorstep. So I'd have to see exactly how that works. My guess is there must be some route that we use one of our vans for that takes Effingham students back to Effingham, whether they meet at a rendezvous point where some of the parents take them, or a kid has additional additional disabilities, we have to accommodate those. So if for some reason we do need to drive right up to their house, that's a requirement in federal and state law. We don't get much of an option. If we don't accommodate that in transportation, we'll get in trouble, we'll get fined.
I know most of, I'm looking at you like you're the chairman of this meeting. Sorry.
I'm good with it.
Sorry. I know that, parents, pre-K kids now, it's the parents, and there is a, small feeder bus that transports, directly to Effingham, a couple of children, so,
Okay, where does it take them home, Chris?
yes. Yeah. But because, without identifying any particular person,
Exactly.
there is, needs that require that, so. And then those that don't, they get picked up, which is another thing that's in my notes that I'd like to discuss and, which is a school district issue, I think.
Yeah,
It seems like ever since COVID, when we were social distancing, everybody stopped riding the bus. But we still have the same amount of buses. We still have the same amount of drivers. Now, I don't wanna see anybody lose their job. I would like to see the opposite. And I'm just curious if the school district or any of the faculty has tried to promote, once again, it's okay to ride the bus, it's safe. And the reason why I say that is anybody that comes on the school street at 3:30 in the afternoon,
Alright.
anybody that's trying to leave the Ospey Highway Department at 3:30 in the afternoon, the amount of parents picking their kids up it's crazy, it's like, are there any kids on the buses?
I would say, you live in a town that's a lot more rural, there's a lot of roads, so the buses may seem more empty than you may like as a taxpayer. There are some towns like Wolfboro where there's a lot of students, a lot more students in Effingham. A lot of the students live closer to the downtown area, so those buses can be pretty full. It really depends, if we can't tell a student, you know, if they live at the end of some class 6 road, you know, that the bus can barely even pass, and they say, I wanna be able to come to school on the bus, we have to send, and you have to remember, the bus starts empty. So many people, when they're driving to work at, you know, whether it's high school kids at around 5:45 in the morning, or the elementary school at 7:45 in the morning, they start empty, and people sometimes will drive by and say, why is that bus empty? Well, they start empty, they fill up as they get closer to the school, and vice versa when they get to the end of their route, and we have to go all the way out to any kid
Oh,
who
and I
wants to
get that, I just didn't know if the school district has, you know, tossed around the idea of ways of promoting the parents to say, you know, to stop driving their kids, utilize the buses, it's, because these parents that are dropping their kids off, they're taxpayers too. It's like, you're paying for that school bus, why are you driving your kid to school? It's safe now, COVID is, you know, it's relatively safe, right? So it's, you know, COVID's over, it's gotta be safe, it's the only vehicle in the state of New Hampshire you can drive with a child under 18 without a seatbelt, so.
I would say our school buses are very safe, we have very professional drivers.
I didn't know if you were promoting,
I think,
getting the kids back into the buses and out of the parent
I
pickup.
think in America, and especially a state like New Hampshire, people love driving their cars, and they have they don't wanna have to wait for their kids to come all the way home after a 40-minute bus drive, they wanna take them to whatever sport or club or activity. You know, we live in a much different society than we did even 20, 30 years ago, where it was, you know, get on the bus, shut up, you know, get off the bus, go in, do your homework, and then go play games outside with your friends. I mean, everyone has these special activities that they're doing, and that their parents are paying for, and their parents are wanting to pick them up from school and take them directly there. It's you know, the bus is just, you know, I don't know what the utilization rate is exactly. Let's assume that it's lower. We still have to operate that bus.
Oh, yeah.
You know, your town, I mean, your town is one where maybe there's a lower ridership percentage than other towns, but frankly, we still need to make sure that there are bus drivers and buses in Effingham for the students of yours that still use them. And let's be honest, the kids who are probably predominantly using the bus are the parents who are working longer hours, who the kids are getting off, maybe going to grandma's or a neighbor's for childcare. I mean, the buses are they're for those whose parents are not have the ability at 3:30 in the afternoon to be getting in that line with a car they're paying a car payment on, and to pick their kid up and take them to some special activity, right? They're the kids that, you know, we don't wanna have left behind, and the buses are the way we do that with their transportation, so.
Cheryl had a question back there first.
Yeah, what, he touched on a few of them, on the special education, the process of IEP. And he mentioned about medical, I was.
So you're all
gonna say
set?
The doctor, yeah, I
Okay.
think he mentioned that.
I just wanted to know, so I live, you know, that's where I live, and the bus goes up,
Not a road.
not a road. You mean to tell me that we pick up the children on those roads?
Probably at the end of some of those roads, but we might have to send, if it's a special education issue,
Then
then
you
we do, yeah, because we have to make that accommodation, let's say it's a kid with like a wheelchair.
But it's a big bus, right, Linda?
I've seen a van,
It's the van, so the van is a
I've seen a
direct.
van, I've also
And the shorter buses.
seen the big bus come down from the hill. But sometime in the afternoon, they don't go up. So if they're going one way, how come they're not going when they come home?
Someone may say I'm picking my kid up early,
I can answer that.
oh, if you
No,
want.
because some of the kids
So it's
get
the
off.
route, so the high school goes a different direction
Oh,
than
yeah.
elementary school. So when they come from Wolfboro, they're coming in from Ossipee and dropping those kids off. They don't go back up, cause the elementary kids may not be going up there.
That's
And then I know in the afternoon, they do, to his point earlier, where they do like a scheduled stop, like the Historical Society, as a
Yeah.
drop point.
Yeah.
Where they drop off and parents pick up there and then they proceed up Townhouse Road.
But what I'm asking is,
So that's a high school kid, when they're coming down, they dropped off a high school
they're coming
kid,
down when they're going to elementary.
they go to elementary.
they're coming down the hill from Granite in the morning with elementary,
Okay,
okay? I don't know about, the high school because I'm really not up that early if I don't have to be. But they also, they go, you know, they don't have anyone that I know of, elementary, so they don't go up in the afternoon. They go up, but they come that way in the morning, so I'm a little confused of,
so they pick them up, but they probably have after-school activities, so they never take the bus to go home.
That probably is it, ma'am. I mean, the reality is we have to, if the kid wants to get picked up in the morning, but they're like, I'm not riding the bus in the afternoon, they'll adjust the routes accordingly. And where my parents currently are now in Wolfboro, there was one kid, we always complained when he rode the bus, because he lived midway through Sewell Road. If you know Sewell Road, that's the road that goes along the coast. And when he wasn't on the bus, they could go just straight up to Forest Road. But when he rode the bus, we all got stuck riding for an extra 10 minutes, cause Jake had to go home and he lived in the nice house on Sewell Road. We all had to wait an extra 10 minutes. That's just the reality, is when Jake got on the bus, Jake had a right to be able to get dropped off at home, and sometimes Jake's parents picked him up, or Jake could walk to downtown and his parents would pick him up from doing whatever he did in downtown, so, you know,
but
the
I
bus
guess,
routes can be determined by effectively when a parent wants to put their kid on the bus and when they don't want to.
So there's no soccer, there's no field hockey, there's no basketball at 6 o'clock or 8:30 in the morning. However, there is at 3:30, 4 o'clock. Almost every day, there's some sort of after
Yes,
school, so
I
there's
know.
after school activities and stuff like that, so. I mean, if my grandson, when he does after school programs, he's committed 3-4 nights a week after school. So if he lived on Granite Road, you'd see him come down on the bus, but you're never gonna see him go back up in the afternoon. So,
I'm gonna watch it.
okay,
I will flag of the services we provide, transportation is surely not it's not our biggest bulk of this budget.
no,
So, but it's still important to be cognizant of the cost. I couldn't agree more. So I can talk more to our transportation director, but I mean, how every year when they set these routes, the transportation director and the assistant director, or whoever her assistant is, I don't think she has an assistant director, it's transportation director and she has an assistant. They plug these routes, basically they look at the students and all their addresses and their families' addresses, and they determine what is the most cost effective, what requires routes that don't require employees to be working too long on the clock, that limit the amount of gas usage, and that's how they create the routes, and they do it for all the high school and the high school and the middle school and all the elementary school, and then they also have to consider other requests that parents have, which is like, I only want my kid to be driven home after school, or only want my kid to be driven home or driven to school in the morning, so they do all that, it's about a 2 to 3 week process that they do that.
So when did the school district start picking up children that are living on, like, Granite Road? How long has it been that they've been doing this?
Decades.
Because when we lived up there, and we had kids,
well,
away was they gonna pick them up?
so, I mean,
So is that in something new or a few years old or?
it's 20 plus years old,
Yeah, it's
20
definitely,
years
it's
plus.
definitely a few decades.
So when your kids were in school, I was in school, and
Yeah, I know, Chris.
So I'm gonna limit this, so I'm gonna,
Go ahead.
I like to start asking questions too, please.
Okay,
Go ahead.
yeah,
I'm gonna go to the budget, where it means,
alright, let's go to the
Something.
budget.
so I see in 2025, you had $60,393, that's because, was it voted down?
The.
2025, yeah, sure.
2025.
Yeah, just on the, so we see a $5 million increase? For 26? 65,
you're looking at a green sheet, Brody, he's looking at a.
Yeah, I'm
blue
looking
one.
at the green sheet, the actual for 2025 was $68,583,022.
okay, and the bottom line,
Yeah,
alright,
and then the actual
I'm looking at
Sorry.
the general fund.
You guys are looking at different
Blue
sheets.
sheet.
Yeah, different
He's looking at a green one, you're looking at a blue one.
Yeah, I'm looking at the proposed.
Where'd you get the green one?
Flip the page, Lynn.
Flip the page.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, but I'm working on this one.
proposed.
If that's down to them too, they might want one.
Alright,
You wanna look at.
so on the blue page, what is this then? The expenditures?
So this is revenue. Believe it or not, we do get revenue. So some of this is expenditures that are related to revenue, but I think the backside is our specifically our revenue page.
Correct, this revenue's in the back, but in the front page, expenditures, which is, educational programs and all that
Oh,
stuff.
I see, okay. Nope, you're right, you're right. This is,
I didn't tell you you were wrong, I just said that you guys were looking at different sheets.
That's right.
So,
I just see the difference, with the expenditures, I'm seeing, approximately a little less than $5 million
Right,
increase.
this is more than just the operating budget, this is also warrant articles. So that's what the blue sheet is as compared to the green sheet. The green sheet is the proposed operating budget, which will be Article 2. This is if the taxpayers were to support every warrant article and the expenditures involved. Because you can see, so if you go up to subtotal general fund, you can see those are the subtotal amounts for the general fund.
Where are you on?
So on the blue sheet, you'll
Okay.
see there's on the left side after the 5,100
Oh, yeah, I see, yeah.
debt service,
Yeah.
so that's for the general fund, the operating budget. And then after that, there's a subtotal for the warrant articles, and then this is total expenditures. Now you have to remember with total expenditures though, that also includes federal funds and food services that isn't local property taxes. So that's not raised from your local property taxes, and that's for us to basically operate a few federal programs, they don't pay nearly enough to pay about 12% of what they mandate. In the food service that we're required to operate under USDA. So so this kind of shows a totality, but the.
So let me just interrupt
Yeah,
there.
sorry.
So on 2025, actual 25, you have 68, total expenditures, 68,538,022, correct?
Correct.
So on 26, you're proposing 67,940,953?
No, that was our default budget.
That was the default. So
Yeah.
27 is where we're gonna go to.
right,
27 is what we're going to, that's what's proposed.
so,
So that's the jump
yeah,
Yeah,
of the 5 million.
yeah,
you'll notice a lot of that jump is due to the union contract we have this year. That's a vast majority of that jump. You'll see under the GUIA settlement, that's Governor Wentworth Educators Association.
So what was the percentage of wage increase for the,
4%, 4%, 4%.
across the board?
That was, I think I can speak on behalf of the negotiating team saying that was the best we could get for the taxpayers without being disrespectful to the union. Anything less than 3.9 effectively adjusted for inflation with the amount their out-of-pocket cost for their healthcare was because of what the risk pool did this year, they would have been effectively taking a pay decrease. So we.
What's the percentage they pay in their health insurance? 20%,
10%.
10%?
Used to be 0, we've upped that over the last few rounds of negotiations to 10.
You're looking at probably increasing that to probably 15, 20?
yeah, you should.
What, like what,
I-
private businesses do?
I can't speak on behalf of the board, I'd say for most teachers' contract, 10% is pretty standard, I know municipalities tend to be closer to 15 or 20%, but most school districts range between 15 and 0. That's pretty comparable with surrounding districts, so
Okay.
we're right about the middle. We are, I will say, because healthcare costs are a significant driver of a lot of our labor costs, as you guys might be aware, our labor costs are about 70-80% of our total cost in our school district. That's just costs for the salaries, associated benefits.
Yeah, everything, yeah.
And so, and a lot of the employees that we're required to have it's required by statute, either, the number of students to teachers, or the fact that a child needs a one-on-one, we need to have a full-time paraprofessional with them. With that said, we are currently working with all 4 of our unions to get quotes for new health insurance plans that are comparable and meet the collective bargaining agreements requirements for all 4, and to keep our pool all together, because
economies of scale and helps us negotiate better health insurance. So we're currently getting the risk pool that you guys have. Health Trust is gonna give us a quote. We're gonna compare that and tell School Care, can you match this, or if School Cares is better, ask them, can you try to give us a little bit better of a deal? We're your fourth largest pool in the risk pool. If we joined Health Trust, we'd be one of the top 10 to my understanding. And we might even consider brokerage or self-insurance. So we might actually consider self-insuring, and we were exploring how does that look and how could that save us costs? And we have to compare how much claims are submitted and how much the pool is taking on for claims versus how much we pay in premiums.
Oh, you have a history in that?
Through work, I understand it enough. I will say our finance director is, or sorry, I should say our business administrator was the chair for about 2 or 3 years of School Care and has been on their board for about 5 to 6. So she has experience in health insurance and risk pool management. So we're confident in working with her and with some other professional expertise and with some employees that we have that used to work in insurance and things like that, that we can
Rely on.
Yeah, we can rely, I think we have the knowledge base to try to ensure we're getting the best deal for the taxpayers on health insurance.
Okay.
And for the employees too, cause they pay for it.
You can come in, we got a meeting at 6:00, but
That's okay. Yeah.
That's all right,
This is,
not a
this is,
problem.
it's all relative and they're taxpayers too, so.
Yeah, they are.
yeah, this is on the school budget. Any additional questions, anybody?
Yeah, but I didn't wanna interrupt, cause you made this thing that you have all these budget questions, so.
Yes, please, go ahead. You're on the roll.
So. Student list, we got the most recent student list. So what is our best course of action for basically confirming that we are only paying for the students we're responsible for?
Current process is that we receive, so every year, parents have to re-register and submit all their information for attending the school district. For every student, they have to fill out for every student separately, which I know some parents don't always love, but that's required, that's how we keep track of every student separately. We go through all those lists and talk with the building principals and say, was this student at your school last year, and compare it to last year's list and see who's moved in, who's been there. We also have a truancy officer, Lloyd Wood, who will go, and if the principal or the teacher feels as if the student is not residing, they will inform the SAU office and we will physically have someone go out and check. And we have caught people who are not residents of a specific town sending their students to our schools, and then there's a process for how we work with the parents or wherever they're staying and work with the town to be like, you're not really a resident. We just went through the whole process and walked the Brookfield Select Board through the same, explanation, but it's pretty thorough, and that's why we send you guys an annual list. And sometimes the towns, because you guys are obviously concerned if you have more pupils accounted for as your daily, membership for our for Effingham School or the high school and the middle school, it's important that you flag that for us. We know typically that list goes to the town clerk, and the town clerks tend to know almost everyone in town. So so if you believe that that there are students that are accounted for in your enrollment list, I would say don't talk about it publicly, because that could be confidential information, and I wouldn't talk about any student and where they live with the board, but I would say your board should have your town administrator contact the superintendent, and town administrator and town clerk contact the superintendent and the assistant superintendent to figure out if we need to go have someone check additionally. But very rarely do we find a student who is claiming domicile in a town where they're not truly domiciled. It's pretty rare and few in between from what we've found and what I've learned exploring this issue with the town of Brookfield.
Oh, correct me if I'm wrong, so we pay for a child that's enrolled in Governor Wentworth School District that lives in Effingham. They can go to any school in the school district, there's just not transportation provided, correct? As long as the numbers, as long as they have room.
Correct, that was recently passed into state law, that's very new, and that's required by the state now, so yes, so you could have a student who
is a resident of Effingham, and if there's enough space in one of our schools, as confirmed by the superintendent and the building principal, then, you know, we have to permit them, but they have to provide their own transportation. So that's inter-district, open enrollment. We don't see a lot of cases of that. People like to go to their community school, they like to, you know, make friends with people who live in their neighborhoods. So, you know, we haven't seen a lot of people take advantage of it, and we've actually, as a district, been fairly laissez-faire compared to other school districts in allowing that. Usually you just have to approach the board and provide justification. Typically it'd be like, I work in Wolfboro, even though I live in Effingham, it'd be more convenient. And, you know, the board will make a decision after discussing the student matter in non-public, so it's not too far. I mean, while, you know, it is a little bit concerning because parents could challenge about whether or not there is adequate space or infrastructure, and they could disagree, and we've had, you know, we had one circumstance where folks didn't agree with our assessment, and so that appeals process gets a little complicated, but so yeah, you could have students at the town of Effingham, because they're a resident of Effingham, they might choose to go to another school in our district, and if there's space, we have to permit it, yeah.
So the last thing I have is, so on the last, couple of closed business days, closed school days, I shouldn't say business days because of weather. The gray Toyota Sierra minivans that do the special transportation. Are you familiar with the vans I'm referring to?
We don't have any silver vans, we have a few white vans, not aware of any silver vans.
Gray,
Gray?
white,
Do they
have the oval white seal, this is Governor Wentworth School District on the door.
those might be work vans, not sure they're vans for transporting students.
Okay,
So you might be thinking, cause I know we have some beaters with our logo on it for bringing equipment and employees around, but when it's a school bus, you can definitely tell, it has the special lights, the blinky thing, it says school bus on it. We usually keep them clean because we don't want parents thinking that we're having their kids riding around in beaters. So, you know, that wouldn't be safe, so they have to meet specific state standard. Gotta stop at all the train tracks and whatever have you, so I'd have to look more into that, but I think those might be just, frankly, we have a lot of staff and that we have moving around on snow days because they gotta shovel snow. And they start shoveling snow the day before.
okay,
So, and they get their specific hazard pay when they do that, and they get a specific bonus if they weren't scheduled to do it, but they did it to help when we're short-staffed. It's like $25 or something additional they get for both. So they get 25 for the hazard pay and 25 for the, they get an extra $50 if they sign up to help us clean out all the snow before the kids get to school the next morning, so.
okay. Thank you.
Any additional questions? We have a meeting, another meeting coming up. We good?
I just have one comment. I
Please.
just wanna flag, our proposed budget is less than our default budget.
Let's see that.
So if you don't vote for the proposed budget, you're gonna appropriate more money than we're asking for. I think that's a key thing to let everyone know. We are asking for less than what the state thinks based on adjustments established in statute and contracts that exist because of the way we have restructured our budget this year and taken on some reforms that you can see in this presentation that I mentioned and stuff, and different reductions in staff that we made at the high school and some of our elementary schools. If you vote no, you're gonna appropriate more money than we're asking for. We're trying to ask for less, and we tried to keep it at a number that was about with inflation 3%. Last year was very tough to control, and I'll say two significant drivers in our proposed budget are the Carpenter School ceiling that collapsed, doing the second phase of that project, that's a contractual cost. And that's about like $200,000 to $300,000 of what we're asking additional to what our last year budget was. So that really is, that's one of our bigger drivers. Other than that, you know, we got all the other warrant articles, you know, and they are what they are. And we'll have a few more warrant articles this year than we historically have, and we've even broken out one position that we viewed as last year was controversial and impacted the budget's approval. And for a wellness coordinator to help, you know, help our in staff, we had to bring our nurses in staff
Huggins was no longer willing to help subsidize the school district in that endeavor. So we need someone to help coordinate those people, but some people had some misunderstandings that we're trying to provide healthcare to kids. We don't do that, we're not interested in providing healthcare to kids, we already have enough mandates to meet. We don't need to be dealing with HIPAA and things like that, so we just need someone to help get these people together and make sure that, you know, the way that we're coordinating our efforts for nursing and student wellness is done the same at every school. So that's all I'll kind of leave it with.
So, let's stop one more question, so, this page.
Which page?
Last page.
That's a great page, that is my
I know.
favorite page, and I know,
I know, I'm surprised that nobody else brought it up, but I see, 999s are proposed, estimated for 26-27. Effingham,
can you cite which table you're on? What it's.
second from the bottom up. Local state combined school tax rates,
Got it.
so we were, 926 last year, 25, 26. So the proposed were 26-27. 999, you see it?
Are you looking at the tax rate?
Yes,
Okay, sorry. Let me look at Effingham. Yep, you are 999. And you said what was your school, state and local combined with your, local last year?
926.
Well, it's right next to it, right,
926.
yeah, 26.
I think an important number to look at.
Yeah, I know.
So the table above, which is your
Right.
total net local assessment. Which is this year going to be estimated 3,605,431. And another number to look at is in the bottom right, highlighted in red, your average per pupil.
31,000,
And that's average per pupil, average across the district, including special education services, which really can inflate that number. You take out special education services,
we're the second,
settles down to 26,000.
18,000.
Effingham is 18,601.69 cents.
got it,
So when you were to compare that, if, let's say, I know a lot of people like to talk, well, what if Effingham or Tuftonboro, towns like to talk, what if we left Governor Wentworth? I don't know a single school district in this state that would let you tuition your students, including special education costs and transportation, which isn't usually included in tuition agreements, for $18,601. Usually it's going for about $25,000, and that doesn't include the special education costs and the transportation costs. And part of the reason why I know that pretty well is not just in talking to other chairs of districts or looking what's gone up with Kennett with their negotiations, but we have 2 school districts who have approached us because they feel as if we're more affordable and afford a better education to students that are right in your backyard, that want to send all their students to Kingswood Regional Middle School and high school.
Well, it just so happens that we met with you some time ago, and we asked the superintendent, do you have room for these people? Because what would that do to everybody's bottom line? When I say everybody's, Effingham's, Ospey's, Wolfborough's, Tuftonborough's, and that would help, right? So the more people, so we may or may not have been promoting, given what's going on up north.
Well, I appreciate that. I've been trying to talk to those boards for a while about how,
just up the north of
yeah,
us.
they're very close to us, and if they drive their kids and pay for the special education services, we have space and we are willing to take the revenue and offer a good educational opportunity, and it'll benefit all the taxpayers in our school district and our existing students as well. So we're gonna be meeting with them in the next month, and we're gonna hope we get some kind of agreement for next year that they can put on their ballot.
The exact numbers I can't remember, but it was, one of the numbers I was quoted was the tuition of $25,000 for the kids to go to Governor or school district as opposed to 52.7 to go to Kennett.
I know sometimes our taxpayers like to think that we're really living at large in Governor Wentworth, but I'd say we offer a great service, and we try to keep our budget as lean as possible. And I understand in Effingham, the total assessed value in your community, it's very hard to try to derive revenue, especially as you see your student enrollment continue to increase. Effingham's wonderful because it's affordable. Generally, to be able to buy a house and to start a family, it's tough because I get it, you have a high tax rate because your assessed value isn't quite that of Wolfboro and Tuftonboro, but I think the way we do our local assessment for our tax effort for our towns,
I think it balances that out. I live in a town like Wolfboro with a really low tax rate, with a really strong tax base. We pay a little bit more, and we take care of our own in Effingham, and we make sure that when they all get to high school, they're on par, they're all together. And it benefits Wolfboro students to have Effingham, Ospey, New Durham, and Brookfield students and Tufton Borough students attend a high school together. We wouldn't be able to have a football team, wouldn't be able to have AP classes, wouldn't be able to offer the number of extracurriculars or the number of extra classes beyond what's required by the state. It's we have it, I think sometimes we have it better than if we didn't have what we have, if we had an alternative. This might be the best, and it's not perfect, but I think we're doing something right in Governor Wentworth, and the member towns are, I really do. I'd stand by that, so,
Appreciate it.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My wife, I promised her I'd be home by 7, and I think I'm gonna keep that promise.
Oh, I was gonna ask you to stay and put your other hat on so we could talk
Yeah.
about some other things
Do
that
you
we got
have
coming up.
something that would be beneficial for me to stay for? No.
Not really.
I wouldn't do that to you.
I would.
I know you would.
For those of you that don't, I work for the New Hampshire Municipal Association, so your town is a member of our association. We provide legal and educational services, so when I'm not doing school district stuff, I'm getting a lot of calls from towns and cities about governance.
I just have to ask you this one question.
One,
We get told all the time that we can't spend taxpayers' dollar on private property. How do we spend taxpayers' dollars for private education in a private facility?
You'll have to consult your private legal counsel on that.
that's a whole
I'm gonna
nother
punt that
story.
Have a good evening, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Brody.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second,
All in favor?
aye.